A motion by Helmut.
Welcome to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in the village, the township. You know, those government people that make laws and regulations that affect you out there.
That's right, Elgin. And whether you live in the village of Oxford, the village of Leonard, Addison Township, or Oxford Township, these are the people that you recently, very recently, went and elected. And the commissions and the committees that make decisions that directly affect you, whether you chose to go to that meeting or not. And the result can be, what? A taxing situation.
It could be. Yeah, it really could. And you know, there's humor in these meetings, and if you've not attended those meetings, you'll really find out what the humor is as it sneaks up on you and strangles you because it is nasty
Whoa.
stuff. Did I paint a pretty
We're
good
talking
picture?
about humor here.
Or would that be rumor? It might be rumor. And the guy that spreads the rumor around here pretty much is this guy, pretty much.
Oh, the way you're saying it was pretty scary.
I was trying to scare him. Usually we save that for Halloween, but you
I
know,
see.
Yeah, but being the elections were
They
they've
just
come and
wouldn't put
gone.
down the mask, folks.
Right. The election's rather interesting. Glad it's over. What do you think?
I'm glad it's over. I'm glad that all those advertisements, and especially the negative ones, are not being bombarding.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have a positive one and a negative one for the same person right next to each other.
You know, we could really run a pretty good campaign that way. We could dig out a lot of mud, a lot of humor in the mud. I mean, we could really have fun with the election.
Oh, yeah, just
Hey.
fling that mud willy-nilly.
Yeah, anybody who needs a consultant next time you run for office, get a hold of us. You know, we can work this out, right? Small contract, 89,000 pages. Just make an X mark.
Well,
We're in.
you got 2 years to sign up.
You do, yeah. You have 2 years. One of the things that's rather disappointing, I think, that occurred, at least as far as I see personally, is not the reapproval of the funds for the Parks and Recreation, because that's what makes the park.
They turned it down?
They turned it down.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Parks and Recreation, that's the way they will survive.
We have a premier Parks and Rec department here.
Yeah.
And if anyone wants to see just how good it is, just go out to Seymour Lake Park.
But
It's
you know,
incredible.
I think, as you pointed out, you know, before the elections, that one of the issues was the size or the length in which that ballot
Yeah,
indicated. You
the,
know,
the language
the
was, well,
rather long.
obtuse.
Yeah, people, you know, they look at it and they see increase. I'm not going to increase for tax. Well, it's not really. It was just really another approval of what they were
True, and
getting
they
in the
had,
past.
and they said what they had to say and to make it legal, but in the process, it became very wordy,
Yeah.
and people kind of turn off after so many words.
Right. People, as a rule, they would not vote for a tax increase. I think that's what they thought it was, and
Yeah.
it really wasn't.
And it looked a little convoluted, less convoluted, by the way, since they rewrote it.
Right. Now, they're going to have a special election, I believe, coming up in 2019 sometime,
Okay.
in which case Ron Davis may make an appeal to go back on the ballot. And he pointed out that this time, if it doesn't pass, he just doesn't have the funds to operate and, you know, drag out the padlocks and lock them up.
The guy has
So-
done a terrific job.
He is. He's very disappointed in this that it didn't get approved, but I think it's all in communications. I mean, it wasn't communicated to what it really was, you know, for
Yeah.
this township. But anyway, that's another subject, and that's water under the bridge. But the water will be coming back across the bridge, and when it does, make sure you folks really dig into it and learn what the issue is before you vote no.
They got to look at the game films.
They do. Okay, let's talk about the Leonard Village Council meeting, which was held on November 12th. Another one we're going to try to cover is the Oxford Village Council. They had an interesting meeting as well. On the Leonard Village Council, Mike McDonald serves as the president. Shar Sotheby is on that board. Paul Almirante. Yeah. And I never get that right. I mean, it's an Italian word. It doesn't fit into Irish. But
Yeah.
anyway, it's close enough,
If
right?
if it doesn't have a lilt, you're doomed.
I'm doomed, yeah. Larry Hoffman serves on the board as trustee, as does Alex Kennedy. Now, I do want to say that Paul Almirante and Larry Hoffman, this was their last meeting,
Oh,
because there were two people that will be taking their spots, and they're both named Jennifer. Jennifer and Jennifer.
I see. What, they simply didn't run for office, or what?
No, and actually they served on, as, helping the community. I think one of them for 14 years, one of them longer than that. And we'll talk about that a little bit later as we go along.
Okay.
Shall we? Okay. Cindy Grosskopf is the clerk, and she was there as well, and Judy Verse, of course, as the treasurer. Now, they did the pledge, of course. They did the prayer. Shar Sotheby usually leads the prayer. Some of these meetings, you really, really need a long, strong prayer.
All starting out with, oh, please.
Please, please help me. Okay. But anyway, they're moving along pretty good. And they have a good staff of people that really lead the Leonard Village Council here. Minutes for October 8th were approved immediately, and the agenda. New business coming up, McDonald. Want to point out that Michigan Bill number 637 should be placed on the agenda for the
You
Senate
betcha.
bill. That's something that affects this TV station here.
We've been batting that one around quite
Right.
a bit.
Another one is a drain issue, and another one, the third one was an equipment for DPW, the Department of Public Works, which is interesting. The guy that is in charge of DPW, his name is Don also.
Oh,
And the one for Oxford, his name is Don. Two different Dons.
must be a requirement.
It must be. Gotta be. Name is Don. If it's not
You're
Don,
in.
don't apply. All right, you got it. Okay, so it was approved as far as the agenda. They move forward. Treasurer's report was received and filed. And bills, and now keep in mind, we have several accounts here. It's good rather than being a no
What was it?
account.
The general, the major, and the other one.
It is. The local and, of course, Parks and Recreation. And the mill actually falls into that as well, because whatever monies are there, if they have to expense out, that's where it comes from.
How's that?
You would know more about that than me.
Why
the
would
accounting guy.
I just have one budget.
You're the numbers guy.
I just have one budget, though.
Zero.
I can't rob from the other two.
0 and 0. Take 0 from this one, put 0 over to this one. You do that quite often.
Well, yeah.
I heard you add zeros.
It's called low impact.
Okay. Don't add zeros. Don't subtract zeros. This guy does it on the straight.
Low
up and
impact,
up.
no raised eyebrows.
That's true. General account was for $12,791.25 in terms of bills. Major account, they withdrew $2,878.29. If you want to write out a check, you can do that right now.
Why, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, too bad. I
Don't
don't
knock
have
over
my
that
book.
stack of yellows.
I
over
don't have my book.
there. It's getting to be about this high.
I see.
We have to go over those at some point. You think? Maybe?
Well, we'll just-
we'll talk about
We'll
that.
throw out the ones that turned green.
We could do that. Local account, they didn't have to remove anything because nothing was billed out. Parks and Recreation, again, 0.
Oh.
So that settled the money situation. Public comment. Any topic, he said. Anybody can talk about anything.
Please.
Yeah. Okay. And one person wanted to talk about the results for the election.
Oh,
And Mr. McDonald said that there were 2 Jennifers, which we talked about. One is Jennifer Offendale, I believe her name is, and Jennifer Cole
okay.
was her maiden name. I'm not sure what her married name is. But anyway, Jennifer Cole. So there are going to be 2 Jennifers serving on this board. Now, that'd be interesting. This Jennifer did it wrong. This Jennifer did it right. Which one did it right? Which one did it wrong?
That sounds like one of those word problems I had in high school.
Yeah, right. The Jennifer problem. So anyway, these are pretty smart ladies, and we'll see if they can last as long as the 2 gentlemen that were in these positions before, over 14 years. Keep in mind, time flies in a hurry. And speaking about time flying in a hurry, we'll be back right after this, folks.
There's a lot of history to Oxford. Hidden around every corner, deep in every crack, and sometimes right in front of you, waiting to be discovered. If you just dig a little, you'll find the great history of our beautiful town. Welcome to Historic Oxford.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we are talking about the Leonard Village Council meeting that went on. And we're going to now talk about public comment. They want to know who was elected. We told you the 2 Jennifers. Sewer committee was a subject that came up. And a gentleman from the audience said, now I understand that you can get a grant for 80%, which will cover the, the sewage project that we would be required. As we know, everything in pretty much Leonard is underground, underwater.
I see.
I mean, you take a stick, pound it in the ground, you get a geyser. So they're looking at possibly a municipal system.
Saudi Arabia would kill for that.
Right, it would, yeah. They probably have.
Well,
But we don't know about that, do we? That's another subject.
yikes.
You had to bring that one up, didn't you? He did it, folks.
You
This guy
batted
right
it back
here.
across the net.
Yeah, right. So anyway, the sewage issue, the gentleman said, well, I think 80%, he said, would be covered by a grant. Well, President McDonald, he said, no, misconstrued. He said, that's not true at all. He said, they're not going to provide that kind of money, for this project. And he said, we used to have monies through the CDG BG project, what that is, Community
Yes.
Development Block Grant, because
Very good.
we were a poor community. He said, now that we're a rich community, he said, they're not giving us as much money anymore. I may not have said it in quite those words, but it kind of came through that way.
More affluent.
Yeah, most affluent. Okay, so anyway, he said that the CDBG program for the public hearing was the next subject, and he said there's $20,000 available. He said, to reprogram. In other words, monies that are transferred from the previous year into this year. And so there's quite a long discussion about that money and how it should be used. And questions from the audience also were quite pertinent. Existing broken up sidewalk. He said, this one person said, the sidewalk is all falling apart. He says, will this money be used for that? And he said, no, sorry, I can't do that. He said, according to state regulations.
Relative to the election, though, was there anything other than the two people that got reelected? Were there any
Issues?
issues?
I don't know of any.
Okay.
Take a note.
They certainly weren't brought up at the meeting.
Yeah, right. Take a note. This time, put it on the top instead of the bottom.
Okay.
Okay. I don't see you doing anything.
I was dealing off the bottom.
He said it here first, folks. We know. Okay. So other questions that came up, he says, well, the Roland Hall roof needs to be repaired. Can we use money for that? The president says, no, I don't think so. So I'm pretty sure it can't. He said, but it can be used for intersection. He said, for safety. He said, for example, there's mats that can be put down. They're $400 a piece. He said,
Mats?
for wheelchair, near the intersections. And he said, for wheelchairs, that kind of thing, they're trying to cross the street. Rather than, no mat will slow the wheels down. I guess that's the way it works. No mat, zip, they're right out in the middle of the street.
Is
There goes another
this a winter thing?
No, this is all year-round type
Okay.
thing. Okay. So the monies could be used for that, and there's roughly 5 intersections in Leonard. And so they're looking at $400 each, roughly $2,000, for the 5. So that was an issue that was discussed. A question came up, well, can it be used for a bike path? No, he says can't be used for that either. So apparently President McDonald has got the scoop on everything that can be used, can't be used. Of course, he's been president for some time, on this council. So he's a very knowledgeable guy. And he answered all the questions, fielded them.
Seems like the shortest list would be the things that it could be used for.
Exactly. Hey, if you folks want to learn more, you can go to OCCTV.org and
Click on programs.
there you will
Everything
find,
is in reverse date order.
Yep, and you will find this particular meeting, and you can see the detail without the rumors and things that we include. So,
Embellishments.
yeah, right. But if you want to know everything about what pretty much happened in that meeting in a short version, this is a place to catch it right here, minutes by minute.
The one thing about what we have on our website is it's verbatim. It's the entire meeting.
Beat 'em per. It is. Okay. New business, CDBG, grant authorization, minor home repairs. We're slated for funding for $8,000. Youth program, $3,500, roughly in that area. And intersection mats, they agreed to go forward with that. So that's pretty much what the CDBG will be used for this year. Okay? And CDBG, Community Development Block Grant. Now, what's the criteria for it? To get your home repaired, you have to be within a certain income bracket. So if you have questions
High?
about it, yeah.
No.
No, you're always high, but
No, hey.
That's another rumor I'm going to
And you're always
spread.
low, but that's okay.
Yeah, right. So anyway, so if you feel that you fall within that category and you like to have your home repaired, maybe the shingles are falling off and other things, contact your consul member or the main office and check with the clerk and see if, maybe you fall into this and you might be able to use some of these funds. That's what it's for.
Yep.
So make the community look great. So anyway, East Subdivision Leonard School hours. They have a parking lot area over there, and it was complaints that a guy got a ticket being parked there after hours. And so he said there's no signs out as to how and when you can park there.
It was a complaint on the person that got the ticket or by the police?
What do you think?
I don't know.
It was the person who got the ticket, obviously.
Ah.
But it's a gentleman that lives across from the school, I guess, and he parks his vehicle over there from time to time. So he did get a ticket. And a lot of times, police will ignore situations like that, especially in a small town.
But
In
things
this
were
case,
slow?
Yeah, things were slow. They said, hey, let's fix this guy. We'll get his attention. They did get his
I've got
attention.
a brand new ticket book and it hasn't been used yet.
Right. So anyway, they did discuss putting a sign there at some point. And they authorized the president to go forward and search for a solution. Check the cost for engineering and the cost to put the sign in. Another situation I had is a resolution for transportation funding. It's a package for roads, and it has to be a resolution if they're doing road repair over $2 million to ensure warranty that the repairs are going to be done accordingly.
All right.
And so it's a quick action. They just approved it and went through. No problem. It's not going to cost you folks money for this one. Okay, trustee resolutions. 2 new millage council members coming on. We mentioned that. And Paul Almiranti and Larry Hoffman received, I think they're not citations, what do they call them? Not plaques, but they gave a rousing
Accolade?
accolade. That's the word I'm looking for. This guy is right there. Notice how he just jumped right out of the swamp and he's got it.
That's right.
Accolade. So 2 accolades were given. And by the way, Paul has served on this board for 32 years, and Larry Hoffman has served on the board for 14 years. So I think they figured it was time for them to move
Kind of
on.
retired.
Yeah, they want to go to their second job. Tired of this one. So anyway, that was all approved, of course. And then they talked about 637 Senate bill, and that's a bill that will replace fees to communities in the benefit of the Communications Commission, or communications companies, not commission, companies like AT&T, Charter, and so forth.
Yeah, it could mean a significant drop in franchise fees that are the lifeblood of financing your local television station.
Right. And here's the thing, the townships and governments will not be able to collect permit fees and so forth. Like
They
were able to
wouldn't.
do
They wouldn't even be
before.
able to restrict companies from coming in and
Yeah.
putting refrigerator-sized.
And did you know that there's a percentage of the money that comes out of every tank that you fill up with gas, the tax, will go towards these
What?
companies? They'll get money for that,
for what?
for their development, for small communications. You didn't know that, did you?
No, I didn't.
Well, guess what? That isn't new news.
You learn
That's
something
old
every
news.
day. When did you pick this one up?
I just picked that one up and I just set it right on your desk.
I see. But yeah, that's different.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that when we come back, folks, right after this. Welcome back to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we are talking about what went on in Leonard. It was a long meeting for
Yeah.
small town Leonard. They had to cover a lot of things, though. They did cover water drainage repairs that need to be done. they're going to move forward and get 3 bids in order to correct it, and they've allocated $2,500. That's all you folks need to know about that one. And DPW, Don, said he needs a trailer or a tractor bucket, smaller than what he has. Because the one he has now, he fills it up and the back of the unit comes up, you know, when he goes to lift it. So they agreed to go
Either
forward.
that or a great big steel plate for the other side of the
You
thing.
got it. All right, or anchor it down to the ground or whatever they do. But anyway, $2,000 was allocated. Get a different bucket. You folks, there's a bucket list. Old business, Elmwood Street, handicap parking. It's out on the main street, and the fellow that owns Leonard's Market says that he'd like to have the handicap parking sign moved. And they checked into it and they found out that it can be, according to MDOT, but that he would have to pay for the sign, the engineering, and the labor to have it done if he's going to do it.
Oh, no freebies there.
No freebies. All you can say is yippee-ki-yay. One other thing, yippee-ki-yay, Christmas. Decorations are going up in Leonard. A small town is going to look Christmassy very, very soon. Next thing we want to talk about is the Oxford Village Council, which is held on November 13th. Only 3 members of the Village Council were on deck. Eric Dolan was there, and he's serving as the village president.
Does that
Or-
constitute a quorum?
It is. Oh, you need 3. There's 5 members on the
Okay.
on the board, so if you have 3, you've got a quorum. Maureen Helmuth was there, and Dave Bailey. Joe Frost was absent from there. Now, you do know that Joe Frost isn't appointed. He didn't run for office this go-round. And Sue Passarda, she's past tense. Is that the word?
What?
She doesn't serve as president
She
anymore.
chose not to
Or
run
on the
again.
council. She didn't run again. So anyway, she was at the meeting though, and she did make a few comments at the end. So they went through the procedures, the pledge, the agenda was approved. Closed session they had quickly, and then they came back with no action required this particular meeting. Apparently there was anything they wanted to do at this time. Presentations, there were none. Notice how we're moving through this one quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Called to the public, nobody. They all
Looking
hid
at their
under the
shoes.
chairs. Yep. Okay. Consent agenda was approved, including the bills of $145,749.26. Yep. And then unfinished business, purchasing policy update. They reviewed it, pretty much set it aside at this point. And new business was the next issue that came up. Helmuth would like to postpone providing new elected officials to the council.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Okay?
Do that again?
She wanted to postpone it.
Postpone what?
The election. Appointment of new officials. In other words,
They're not appointed.
yeah, they're appointed internally by the council, by the members that are on the council.
Weren't they elected?
But they were elected, but not elected as president or vice chair. They're
Oh,
appointed.
you're talking about officers.
You're right, appointed as officers.
Okay.
Man, that took a while getting to that one, didn't it? Okay, but anyway, it was pointed out that the charter requires at this stage, even though in January they will have to have a permanent appointment of a president and a pro tem. But the charter requires that a pro tem be appointed now, and that the guy who was the vice chair would move on as a chair up until January. So this had to be done according to state
What's the
regulation.
difference in a pro tem and a vice chair? It's the same thing, isn't
Vice
it?
chair is the same thing. Pro
Oh.
tem, vice chair.
You're talking like there were 2 different people.
No. I wasn't. No. So anyway, what happened here is that Eric Dolan, of course, being he was the vice chair,
Or pro tem.
or pro tem, he stepped into the presidency spot, and he nominated, at this point, Dave Bailey to be the,
Pro tem.
or
Vice chair. Jeez.
right. He's got this one down pat, folks. Okay, I just wanted to see if he could still remember it. He did. Okay, so that was pretty much what came out of this at this point. There was they did need, in the temporary mode of things, need to also appoint another temporary village council member. And that person was recommended by Helmuth, who made a motion to do that for Joe Frost. Joe Frost was absent at this particular meeting, but Helmuth pointed out that, he'd be the ideal person, being he served on it before, to be appointed to it. And Dave Bailey, he seconded it. But when it got to Eric Dolan said, he'd argue it. He said, because from his perspective and from the standpoint of the council, Joe Frost didn't show up for all the meetings. He said, you should show up for every meeting, and he went on and he discussed the whole issue.
Although he's a president, he only has one vote, right?
Right. And he wanted to make it very clear. I don't want to make this personal. So that was the point.
But.
Yeah, right. No, he didn't say but. He just said, I don't want to make it personal. So, but anyway, he indicated that he was not for putting Joe Frost back in the position, even in a temporary manner here.
So how did the vote go?
Well, the vote came out, the smoke cleared, and the fire disappeared, and Joe Frost was appointed.
Okay.
So that's where it ended up. Only single vote against it was, guess who? Eric Dolan.
Wow. That's
Gee,
a
that was
surprise.
a
That's a surprise.
Surprise, surprise. Yes, it was. Okay. So anyway, so it looks like Joe is going to be back on this board, which is good, for a temporary period at least, until the new members come on, for this council. Let me see, what else we have? One Drop Brewing tasting.
Oh.
That again. We talked about that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's at 130 Oakdale Street.
Which is a runoff of Glassby.
It is. Okay. And it's in an industrial area, and everything has been beat up, chewed up, spit out, and acclimated to the right direction by the planning commission. And it now is up to the village council to decide if they're going to move forward and give approval. And guess what? They did.
Okay.
So that should take care of that, and then the brewing company should be in existence within a short period of time here, folks, with One Drop Brewing tasting. Remember, only one drop you get, so stand in line.
Well, Oxford seems to be a mecca for
It is.
private brews.
A lot of people appreciate beer here. I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I'm allergic to it.
Yeah, and me too.
Are you?
Yeah. Whiskey though, a whole bottle is good.
A whole lot. They give
Being
you-
Irish.
They don't give you a glass, they give you a straw.
Well, that's what they do for you too. You're Irish.
Yeah, but it's a smaller straw.
Smaller straw. Okay. Nah, that was. You're talking about the good old days. Those days.
Use
are
one of
long
those
gone.
milkshake straws.
Yeah, milkshake. Yeah. Especially. You can get a lot through that milkshake.
You
straw.
certainly could.
Yeah, I mean, if you suck hard enough, you can even bring the cherry up through there.
Then you make that awful noise when you get to the bottom.
It does, yeah. Okay, that's another subject we'll have to get involved in here.
You make an
But-
awful noise.
Right. Now, the next thing that came up, special event application for Christmas parade. Guess what? Should there be a Christmas parade or shouldn't there be?
Oh,
Eric Dolan made the motion, let's have a Christmas parade. So they're going to have a Christmas parade. They got
and
approved for the permit.
but there's a lot of discussion as to finances, isn't there?
Oh, they did discuss insurance, for example. Who's going to pay for the insurance? And that has all been settled. Pete Schultz, the fire chief, has agreed upon, what they've decided they wanted to do. So they're in unison, as well as the police department. So everything's all lined up here to move forward with.
And the Christmas parade will be,
The Christmas parade will be whenever they decide.
oh, well,
Just give a date.
up to but not exceeding Christmas.
That would be close enough. Speaking of close enough, what have we got coming up?
We've got a few meetings. On 11/26 at 4 o'clock, the OACCC, which stands for
Oxford
Area Cable
Communications Commission.
our parent body.
Oh, I had to suck that one out of me.
Yeah,
But,
and they'll be meeting at the Village of Oxford offices at 4 o'clock. And on 11/20, again and again and
Oh,
again.
okay.
Well, we only meet quarterly now. We used to meet every month.
Yeah.
On 11/27 at 6:30, the Village of Oxford Council will be meeting. And at 6:30, the Oxford School Board will be meeting at Oxford Middle School.
I want to say, you want to tune into the school board meetings, and they, again, are on OCCTV.org. And they're very interesting meetings they've had.
That's right. We,
You-
we cover it all.
Yeah, and I think you can eliminate all the rumors that come across Facebook and what's the school board is actually doing. These people are really energetic. They're really dedicated to take care of the kids out there. Right?
We got a good system.
We do. Until next time, I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
Catch you next time right here on Minutes by Minute.
See you then.